Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. Uh Today my topic is the nine should set you free, right? For most of us, we if people have if they remember how I started the year, I said this is the year of the nine, right? 2025. Two plus two plus five is nine. And so in the beginning, I knew that the nine meant completion. I knew, the nine meant war. I knew a lot of these things, but something has come up to my attention to where it even registers in another form or manner, right? So I was looking up what else nine mean, and then I found out that the number nine uh in Hebrew, it meant to be free, right? So if you bear with me, I'll go on into reading what this thing is saying to us. Okay, nine equals truth in Hebrew. The word for truth in Hebrew is amit. The numerical value of each letter is 1 in 400. But we know that 1 plus 4 equals 9. Thus, one who recites Vedchulu is testifying to the truth, right? We find that any number that times 9 equals 9, right? So, emet truth, it lasts forever. Therefore, the multiple of 9 remain a 9. The truth always remains the same and can never be altered. Similarly, Hashem is the truth from the beginning to the end. Of course, they're talking about the biblical portion of their meaning of 9 as far as Shem being the truth and Adam being the truth. Adam was crowned with glory and honor. You know, these are the things that they want, you know, how they break down in Hebrew the word truth and puts it into examples, right? So when we go to that situation, we can always now understand why now the topic is the 9 shall set you free. So here's the thing, right? If we understand that the truth, it allows us to be identified as free, then we must understand that a lot of us may be living in a fairy tale. We may be living a myth. We may be living, dare I say, a lie, right? The truth of the matter is, no, we don't really. Do we really know ourselves? Do we take the time to examine ourselves? Do we take the time to understand what's truly inside of us, right? In spiritual aspects, you know, the Christians are now coming to a realization that they are the church. The edification of a building does not make a church. It just makes it a building. But when God dwells within you, you are the church, because only God can sanctify, or his spirit can sanctify what it is dwelling in. And we know, and we know from the beginning that God has given us a piece of himself, right? Even if it's the size of a mustard seed, we understand that God dwells within us. So now the truth of the matter is we can be God-like. We can be Christ-like, right? I'll put it even smaller. We can be Christ-like. That's why Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. Anybody that goes to God must go through him. That's what that means. Diane, good morning. That's the meaning of that, right? You have to hit the highest point of yourself, right? And in root chakras, the highest chakra is the Christ chakra, right? So how do you get there? You have to go from the bottom, from the root, and elevate yourself up to its highest level, the Christ chakra. And in spirituality, in order to become Christ-like, you must be born again. You must be, baptized with water in the name of whom? Jesus, right? Who we know to be as the Christ. So if we're starting to live in our nines, if we're starting to live in our truth, we have to understand that this old thing that we are holding on to dearly and holding on to with value, it must be removed. It must be killed. It must be sacrificed. Don't say nothing word, but it must be sacrificed in order for you to invest into the newness that you are trying to find. Right? You must put away those old things, because now you are no longer a child, because the truth is you are growing up. And unless you are grown, you still have some growing to do. So as we sit back and really examine and look at ourselves, what do we need to grow on? What do we need to improve? What is the truth of our everyday existence? The truth of the everyday existence is we are here today. So now we can figure out what can we do today to improve ourselves, elevate ourselves, uplift ourselves, right? Sometimes we have a point, we have the structure of looking out to others to elevate us, to validate us, to tell us that we are becoming the best version of ourselves, right? But during the time of fasting, you don't need that validation. That validation will become a confirmation. How would you know if it's confirmation? Because your walk will be different, right? When you going through the point of fasting and drawing nigh to the creator that gave you life. How does that go, right? Because you'll start to your movements will start to be different, right? You are shedding off all the negativity that is keeping you away from the goodness that God wants you to have, right? And like I'm not even going to go into scripture because scripture alone has so much proof of what fasting and praying does, right? There's a reason why the truth of the matter is the tribe of Judah is the most important tribe when it comes to God. And for those of you that don't know, Judah is translated from Hebrew to English as praise, right? So if praising is what gets you to walk, to be in the same structure as God as far as the evidence of your faith, it's not hard work for you to praise God. It won't be hard. It won't be hard when you're down and you're going through a situation that, you know what, I know that God is going to get me through it. And you can praise your way from a sadness to a peaceful and happiness stage of a situation, right? You may not be able to pay your bill, but through praising God and through faith, the truth of the matter is you would really know that God is going to make sure that you are not without. He's going to make sure that that bill is paid. And it's not an evidence of what's being seen with a visual eye. It's the evidence of what you know if you close your eyes and, oh, okay, some way, shape, or form, God did it for me. Or some way, shape, or form, it a way was made for you to get that money to where you are no longer worried about taking care of your home, taking care of your family, taking care of situations. Why? Because the truth of the matter is you knew that God will make a way even when other people could not find a way, right? We also have to live in everyday situation, and it doesn't have to be spiritual. The truth of the matter is that some people peace is chaos. What do you mean somebody's peace is chaos? You say somebody peace is, you can see that somebody peace is chaos is that they're complaining that they want to have a peaceful manner or peaceful state and then turn around and go into chaotic situations and chaotic scenes. And when they go to those situations, you cannot then ask, well, why has thou forsaken me and brought me into a peaceful, to a chaotic state, right? All because you are going through the situation that you are going through is because you have placed yourself there. And when you understand that you have placed yourself there, you will understand that your truth is not what you want it to be, is what you are making it into a reality. And so those are the things, that's one example of understanding that, you know, how the nine or the emet can set you free, right? There's so many different avenues and ways of pointing these things out, you know, but since we are on this app and since we talk to each other through this app, just keep scrolling through the apps. See what type of feeds come up on your timeline, right? And a lot of the times we say we want to find good energetic or peaceful energetic things, but every time we look we find a chaotic situation or a chaotic person, or we find ourselves in the beef sector, but we don't know who is encouraging us to stay in our truth, right? Is who fault is that? Who puts that work in to get us to where that situation occur? Is it the God in you, or is it the flesh in you, your normalcy, your nature, right? But the truth of the matter is we can change our nature, right? You know, sitting back last night having a conversation with my 33 brothers of word, we came to the conclusion that your nature can be changed. People may not understand that nature can be changed. Your nature can be changed because we are told that nature is unchangeable, right? If we deal with nature, if we tamper with nature, it becomes tainted. But your life don't have to be tainted, because your natural things that you are now adjusting yourself to can become your naturist side, right? So if you decide that you want to have peace in your life, that can be your normalcy. So you may wake up and say, why am I not dealing with drama anymore? Why? Because the truth of the matter is you set your natural abilities to a state to where you can be at ease. You can have the pleasure of waking up and not dealing with worriations as you once did, right? But we have to understand the truth, and the truth is that we set our courses. We set our everyday goals. We set the aim for the day. I don't know if a lot of us is old enough to remember what the aim is. When you used to go to school, when your teacher would write aim, the aim was the lesson of the class, right? The goal of the class, aim. Today, we aim to understand the number 9. We aim to understand why 9 is equivalent to truth in the Hebrew language. And that's what we're talking about today. So when we put it into our English form, we understand that the truth, or the emet, or the 9, can set you free. So as long as we sit there and work on ourselves, as long as we sit there and take the time to do the work, do the research, to seek our soul salvation with fear and trembling. That's what the Bible would say, right? If we decide to do that, we would have to renew our mind. We would have to put the childlike situations on the side, because we have now outgrown those situations. Just like a lot of us have outgrown the people that we used to be around. I'm going to be nice and say 15 years ago. It could be 20. Some of us, it could be 25. Some of us could be 30, right? But at the end of the day, we don't do what we did when we was teenagers. Why? Because the truth is we have grown. An elevation has occurred in us. Whether it's good or bad, I'm going to leave that up to you, right? But a growth has to take place. You're not around the same people you were as teenagers, right? Some of the fellas were spinning the block as teenagers. Now that you are 20 years in, 35 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, you're not where you used to be. The fellas is not those same fellas that's in your lives. Hopefully you decided the truth of the matter. Hey, I made a mistake by hanging. It's not a mistake. You decide if it's a mistake or not. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of us, once we hit our adulthood, right? Because even as an adult, you're still growing. The mind is still growing. That's the truth of the matter. That's the 9 of the matter, right? When you understand that there's still growth at the age of 40, there's an adjustment that you need to prepare yourself for. A lot of us are not even understanding that once you get to a certain age, that your body is going to change. Your mindset is going to change. That's just the truth of the matter. That's how the truth in life, it works together, right? So if you start feeling aches and pains that you didn't feel in your 20s, you have to live in the truth and make that adjustment to minimize said pain, right? Man, my bones are aching. Oh my gosh, for some ladies, they may go through the stages of menopause at that age of 40. It may be longer, but the fact of the matter is, or the truth of the matter is, that is going to occur for some of us. Maybe not all of us, and maybe not at that same time, but you better believe that's going to occur. Why? Because the truth is, that's a part of life. Adjusting is a part of life. Growth is a part of life. You you know, I always say, people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can know that's only the case because that dog does not want to learn. That dog feels like it's at its highest stage. It's adulthood. Its growth is now over with. He feels or she feels like it's grown. A lot of us human beings feel like we're grown. So this conversation may not even be relevant for a lot of people. That's okay. But for those that want to understand what the nine is and understand how the truth can set you free, you will sit back and ponder and evaluate the conversation that is being had on this situation right now, right? You get tired of being around the nonsense. You get tired of being around the chaos. You get tired of the, excuse my language, the bullshit that's going on around you, right? So what do you have to do? The truth of the matter is, when you become sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to make that move to go ahead and step out on faith, because a lot of people fear what they don't know. A lot of people fear what they cannot control. And when that's the case, when you come to that understanding, you have to understand that the movement is a necessity, right? We always talk about making what's the difference between wants and need, right? The need is going to make you make that step to get to what that need is, right? If you need to breathe, you're going, and you don't have to do, and you can't do it by yourself, you need an oxygen mask. If you need to get somewhere and you don't have, and it's too far to walk, you need to find transportation. So if you understand that you need the truth, you must go out there and seek it. You must go out there to find it. And when you find it, you must be able to accept the truth that is right in front of you, right? And the truth is that we are not all at our better versions at yourself. I am not at my best version of myself, and I get upset about it because no one can put that expectation. No one puts more expectation on me than me. Do I need to be the smartest person in the room? No, I do not. But the truth is, I know I belong in that room, right? And once I get in that room, the growth and elevation of all of that knowledge that's within that room will be something that will be joyous for me. Why? Because I love to learn. And when you love to learn, there's room for growth. And when there's room for growth, everything is going to be soaked up like a sponge. That's why your parents will always look at you as a child, because your parent is always going to say there's always room for growth. There's always room for you to improve. There's always room for you to elevate. And that's just how I look at it. The majority of us that have children, don't we look at our children? We tell ourselves we don't want our children to grow up too fast. We don't want them to miss certain things. Then we don't want them to miss a beat. We don't want them to do none of that. Why? Because the opportunity of soaking up the knowledge and information can be missed if we're not preparing them to do so. And so too, that is us on an everyday basis, right? Just because you're 40 doesn't mean that you're grown. Is you still have room for growth. Just because you're an adult, it doesn't mean that, it should not mean that you're grown. The truth of the matter is you can grow until the day that you die. And it may not be physically, but it will be in a mental state, right? The only thing that stops you is things that's alienating your mind, alienating your body, alienating your soul. And so, God forbid if you get dementia, right? Or what they call everywhere else in the world, type 3 diabetes. Riders, good morning. Right? When you get type 3 diabetes, right? That is called Alzheimer's everywhere else, but is not recognized in America. And we all know that there is a blockage that prevents you from certain memories in your life. And if you don't take care of it, it can deteriorate not only your mind, but your body and your soul. But the blockage is that you are no longer growing. That's just the truth of the matter, because now you can't remember the things that you just did 5 minutes ago. That's what dementia does. It tears your brain. It structures your brain to where it blocks your memory. It's not that your brain is deteriorating in the way that you think it is. It just simply means that there's a blockage to your memory. There's a blockage to the information that is stunting the growth of your mind. That's what dementia is. And it always happens to somebody, that has a blockage, whether they're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or even 40. You see what I'm saying? It does occur. And when it occurs, we keep looking for the medicine that we rely on the doctors that tell us, hey, we can't take it away. But we know, if you understand that the truth of the matter is, everything that you need is right in front of you. The medicine could be right in front of your doorstep, right? They tell you that a dandelion is a weed, but yet they use dandelion root to heal people. How does that make sense, right? But you're not going to know the truth until you sit down and observe what's on those medicine bottles, right? If you see a dandelion root, what do you mean a dandelion root? That dandelion that's outside, that dandelion that your HOA is telling you to cut down, that dandelion that they tell you is a weed, they make the good things bad and the bad things good. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't sit there and get the information yourself, you can be like the Walking Dead. You can be like a zombie, because your soul is being taken from you, because your wisdom and understanding is not connecting to your soul and your spirit. Your conscience is not preaching to you that you need to do the right thing. And all of those things happen when there's a disconnect. So the truth of the matter is that we need to have that connection. We need our personal trinity, the mind, body, and soul, to reconnect and do its job, so where we can all be the best version of ourselves. Will people approve of it? Probably not. But we don't live by people's approval. We live by the peace that we want to have in our everyday life. So if the 9 or the emet, which is the truth, if that's what it is, if that's what we are seeking, then we will understand that we have to seek our emet, we have to seek our soul salvation, because ain't nobody else is going to do it for us. Ain't nobody sitting there worried about that. And we know how the 9%, they tell you a better you is a better us. Even we had that conversation last night, and I'm saying, well, if a person that's beneath me grows, wouldn't that want to elevate me to become better? Because my efforts of helping that person elevate would want me to elevate myself. And I said to myself, that is a great possibility. Right? Me giving y'all this message, right? Me tapping this conversation with y'all and somebody picking that up. That's going to make me feel like I need to do more, because what is being said is correct. I'm not correct. What is being shown is correct. That now that we understand that 9 is equal to truth in another language, and we place it into our hearts and our understanding, we would then understand that, okay, I didn't know that about what the number 9 meant. I never knew that's what 9 meant. But now that you know that the 9 in Hebrew is emet, and emet means truth, what is your solution of gaining that emet? What is the solution of you allowing that 9 to set you from the shackles of what you thought you knew, right? What is the emet going to allow you to turn your opinions into a fact? And if you have facts, that your facts can become your truth. And if it's possible, it can even elevate from your truth to the truth. All it takes is you that doing that work. All it takes for us to sit down and say, yo, I know this is possible, and place it into your daily activities. So now you become that example. You not to say that you are going to be praised, but it's just a simple thing like, hey, the edification of truth that you are walking in is being seen by somebody else, right? You don't have to wear it as a mask. You could wear it as an everyday garment. But the truth of the matter is, we're so afraid of how people think about us or what they're going to think about us, that we hide in the shadows. We jump behind a bush. We don't want people to judge us because we're living in our truths. Man, the fact of the matter is, don't nobody get to that heaven or hell to put you in. No person can put you in heaven and hell, right? It's the fact of what you do on your everyday basis that gets you to your heaven or to your hell, wherever you think it is, right? Scorp, good morning. Whether you think it's in the manosphere heavens above us, or if a lot of people now coming to an understanding that heaven is a state of mind. If that's what y'all want it to be, then you need to find out if that's your place to be at, right? And if it's just a mind, if it's just a state of mind, you have to set your mind for the availability of that heavenly place within you, right? So no matter how you view this, no matter how you think about it, no matter how you observe this, you have to understand that the emet, the 9, will set you free from the bondage of what's already been holding you back in your everyday life. So those are the things that we have to understand. Those are the things that we have to work on. It's never too late for you to grow. It's never too late for you to elevate. It's never too late for you to be the best version of yourself. That is the emet. That is the 9. That is the truth of the matter. The question is, do you really want that truth to be a reality? Because everybody says they woke, but a lot of people are still daydreaming. Just because you have your eyes open doesn't mean you're fully awakened, right? People do have daydreams, and with their eyes open, you can zone out into a different place when you are daydreaming. Oh man, I was just thinking about a sunny beach in Hawaii. Where are you at? In the school building, learning my ABCs. I thought when you were a child, you hear those kids playing, you zone out. Like, man, I wish I was out there with those kids. I'm about to show my age, playing kickball and double dutch, and for the ladies, and basketball and all other sports. While you're in the school building, you're awake, but you're daydreaming. You see what I'm saying? You must be fully awake. You must be paying attention to what's going on in front of you to be awake. And if it makes a dent in life, you will apply it to your life. Thank you, Scorp. But at the end of the day, you got to understand what the truth is. You got to allow that truth to break down the shackles, break down the walls. The truth is screaming in your body every day, right? Like the walls of Jericho is screaming in your mind, it's screaming, it's screaming. And then once that quietness hits you, that wall is going to crumble. Why? Because the truth has done its job. It's allowing you to be free. It's allowing that wall around your heart to be broken down. It's allowing that love to be to penetrate your heart, right? It's allowing that light to hit the darkest stages of captivity in your mind, right? We know that the littlest of light can defeat the darkness, right? How many of us have been walking around in our house and we keep the lights off at night, but as soon as we use our phone, we find that place that we need to go, right? If we got to take that long walk down the hall, what do? We put that light, we grabbing our phones and going to the bathroom, and we put that light on. Why? Because we're making sure we ain't kicking nothing to trip us. We making sure that things are not in the way to harm us. So too does the truth. That's what the truth is supposed to be doing in your life. It's supposed to be illuminating certain dark situations in your life to say, you know what? I no longer want to trip over that vice. I no longer want to trip over the situation of over medicating myself. I don't want to trip over that haunted memory that's keeping us in the situation to not wanting to grow into our truths, right? Whether it's, people being assaulted, whether physically or emotionally or damn, I say sexually. Yes, Diane, the fear of knowing the truth is what's holding us back. The fear of freedom, right? Just imagine how the people how the people that was afraid to run away to follow that drinking gorge up north, right? There's so many people like, no, I can't do it. I don't know what's out there for me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so afraid that something's gonna bring me back here and give me more harm than good, right? But the truth of the matter is, if you don't do the attempt, you're being overcome by the fear of losing. And I always tell you guys that winners never quit and quitters never win. Right? That's just the truth of the matter. How many quitters you know won? How many winners you know quit? That's just the truth. That's a fact, right? That truth is so obvious. It's not even a truth. Now, when you find out the truth can set you free, then it becomes a fact. But that's another conversation for another day, because we're going to stick on that nine, that truth, that emet, that's allowing you to understand that things are possible even when it looks improbable. Things are possible even if it looks like it's impossible. You gotta know that you can overcome any adversity, any situation. You can do it, right? There's people out here that don't have all these senses, but they're still thriving. Why? Because the truth of the matter is, another sense pick up, right? For somebody that can't walk, their strength is in their arms. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, they may be using that wheelchair to move around, and that's all upper body strength. That's all in the arms. That's all in your shoulders. There's another strength that gains because it has to substitute for what you have lost, right? If you don't get to hear, if you become deaf, what elevates? Your vision, it elevates, right? You can see things further away than you ever did than people that hear, right? The truth of the matter is, even when you lose, you gain. As Word would say, and he brought this to my attention, even when you sacrifice, you're investing, because most times the sacrifice that you've given up for is to improve on something that you truly desire. Seeking the truth, you must sacrifice the lies, the hatreds, the misunderstandings that has held you still, right? That's why the 9 shall set you free. That's why the truth shall set you free. That's why the Emet will make you free. Well, the Emet, like Emmitt Smith. Now, for those of you that watch football, we know Emmitt Smith is a Russian champion. We understand that he is, by statistical matters, the greatest rushing back in the NFL. That means his truth was he understood that he can be great. He overcame the fact that he wasn't tall enough by running back standards. He wasn't fast enough in running back standards. But yet, even with those those misconceptions of height and speed, the strength kicked in, the understanding of hitting those gaps to break down the sidelines, for the fastest people not to catch you, to run 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns. Those things occurred. Why? Because the truth is, he knew he can be great, and he never minimized himself. That's what we do. We minimize ourselves and then expect the truth to be misunderstood. And it will be, because you don't know the truth that lives in you. The truth that lives in you is to understand that you can become great. The reason why we all ain't great, because we don't all strive for it. That is the emet. That is the 9 in us. That is the truth of the matters. Well, if that's the mantra, Diane, that the Dallas Cowboys don't underestimate self, then they can become great. And that's the mantra that we all should have then. Because at the end of the day, that's the thing that we need. We need that underestimating ourselves is a stagnation. And we always know what I'm going to say about stagnation. It kills dreams and it kills momentum. But the truth of the matter is, if you keep your eye on the prize and understand that the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but to those who endure to the end, we understand that we know the truth, and the truth is that the destination will be reached. It will be acquired. It will be instilled within us. The problem is we don't seem to strive for the truth. We don't see the strive for the immense. We seem to settle for what we know. Dare I say, we are settling for less. And when we understand that we are settling for less, then we are never going to be our best version of ourselves. That person that wants to start their business, you can't start your business with doubt, right? Because the truth of the matter is you going into a thing with fear, and you go into it with no clarity of succeeding. That's why I never understand how a person can have a prenup in a marriage and think it's going to work, because you already have doubt that it's going to work in the first place. Because the truth of the matter is you fear that somebody's going to leave you, and that truth is going to harm you instead of help you. Right? That's just the truth that a lot of us live with. A truth that harms is not a truth that helps us elevate. A truth that harms, it decreases our growth span. The truth that harms, it keeps us subpar. But when we understand that the truth will set you free, the elevation, the roots of what the truth can be for us, we will have good root. We will have a good foundation. We will be able to grow in said truth. We will thrive in said truth. But the fact of the matter is, we understand the balance of truth, that there's good truth and there's bad truth. And we have the tendency to worry about the bad truths and not plant our roots with the good one. And, instead of growing beautiful trees, we're growing weeds in our everyday life. Why? Because we're not understanding that through adversity, we gain diversity. We become diverse in situation, and diversity is a strength a strengthening a situation to where you can now go through a situation, right? If you are afraid to swim, if you don't take that challenge of laying flat on top of the water, if you don't crash out and become nervous, you won't go underneath it. You will now see that you can float, and then you could turn yourself over and paddle yourself to shore. That's the truth of the matter. But because we are so embedded in worryation, doom and gloom, we see the truth of we're going to drown instead of seeing the truth of I could swim the shore. And that's all of us, and that's an everyday aspect. That's the aspect that we need to go forward with. But until we understand that the positive truth can outweigh the negative truth that you have made abundantly clear in your life, that's how people going to see you. If you see doom and gloom, people going to presume that your truth is that you like doom and gloom. If you present yourself with encouraging words and great energy, the truth is people going to view you as an energetic and encouraging person. That's just how life is. But like I told you before, you can change your nature. The truth of the matter is you set the tempo for your life. Can't nobody set nothing for you but you. No one can have greater expectations for you, than the person who's living that life, which is you. And that's the thing I want everybody to come to the conclusion with, right? Just because that truth is very very big and very understanding, right? You must also understand that there's a balance in life that must happen, right? In order to overcome a problem, you must seek the solution. The truth is, I don't think people are seeking solutions in the first place, right? I think people are they would rather complain than adjust themselves to get through their problems, right? And how is that being seen? By people sitting back and observing, right? When people are trying to come together to make comfortable safe zones for people to discuss their problems and give them answers, there's somebody in the back trying to disrupt that. The truth of the matter is misery loves company. And when you understand that misery loves company, you're going to also see those crab in the barrel situations. Well, I'm not happy. I'm gonna keep you in the barrel with me. You can't keep somebody that's determined to overcome. You can't keep somebody to understand. You can't keep somebody under when they continue to get to their greatest version of themselves. They're looking up at the proverbial mountain from the hills, but now you must take the steps to do so. Elevation is a part of truth. When you elevate, you can understand that there are different ways to overcome that worryation, to overcome that misery, to overcome that doubt that you can be loved, to overcome the doubt that you can be a pleasant person, right? But if your natural state is doom and gloom, that's where you're going to want to dwell, right? That's why people fear the truth. That's why the truth can set you free. It can either elevate you or it can bury you, because one way, shape, or form, there's a lot of people that don't know how to accept the truth, and freedom may not be an option for other people. But as long as you know that the end met, the nine, the truth can set you free, there should be no stopping you now. What's the song say? Ain't no stopping you now. You're on the move. When you're on the move, you must make sure that the movement is not being blocked. You must go through a detour. If there's traffic that's slowing down your momentum, you got to make those things happen. But if your truth is getting to that finish line, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get to that finish line. So I just want you guys to really think about how your Emet, your nine can set you free, and apply it to your life. If it works for you, then God is working with you. If it doesn't work for you, then you can say that you try. What did you say here, Diane? Underestimate yourself. Separate already. Freedom up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you going through a situation and you going into a situation like, no, let me prepare for the worst, right? You already stopping what could be the best thing for you, right? You, instead of you worrying about the peace that marriage can bring to you, that woman can give you, or that man can add to you, you worrying about what they're trying to take away from you before you even settle in your marriage. Before you even become one, you already looking at separation. So how are you going to? It doesn't work that way. How could you join together if you're looking at separation from the gate? That's not a truthful statement, right? That neither is a prenup. If you going into a thing with I'm just trying to protect myself. If you did your job, you wouldn't need to protect yourself. Young Riaz, good afternoon. If you really did the work, your vetting of a person, you would understand the likes and dislikes of a person. That's why for me, I truly understand how friends can become lovers, because if you understand what that person dislike is and you truly like them, the truth of the matter is you doing your best not to harm them. Wallahi, wallahi, right, on God. And that's what I'm saying. When you understand what the truth is, the purpose of harming somebody or lying to a person may not really exist within you. It may not dwell within you, right? So you have to understand what you got to do, right? And when you understand what you got to do, what up, Nine? BDB in the building. What up, though? How you feeling? How you living? But that's just the truth of the matter, right? When you understand that I'm much, when you understand that the nine equals the truth, you should not be worrying about fear. You should not be worrying about fear when the truth can set you free. You should not worry about worryation when the nine can set you free. You should not worry about doom and gloom when the nine can set you on a path of peace and harmony and joyous occasions. You should not be worried about that, right? Like shout out to my nine brother BDB, right? He just made a move from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now just imagine if he was working on doubt alone. The truth of the matter is he would not be enjoying the move to the West Coast if he was just sitting there thinking about doom and gloom. Oh, I'm not used to being over there. I'm not used to the time zone. I'll probably be sleep 2 to 3 hours earlier over here because I still got my East Coast route, my East Coast routine. No, the truth of the matter is there has to be an adjustment. I believe he's making that adjustment. I believe he's done so well with the adjustment that now we're going to see my nine brother BDB in a way that we never even saw him when he was on the East Coast, because that newness, that revitalization, that fresh start is going to allow him to do things with a fervor, with a enjoyment that, hey, I'm more. That's why he's going to be more than just the battle of the beats. That's why he's going to be more than Life is Art. He's going to be the entertainer that he wants to be. His grasp, we already understand that his grasp. He sees the grasp of his reach of entertainment. I know that he's gonna grab it. I know he's going to do it. Why? Because the truth and newness of his new location is going to all work in his favor. And when it does work in his favor, y'all gonna say, "Damn, BDB, you glowing." He gonna have that salt and pepper beard, but it's gonna look like a glow to it. Why? Because that new energy, that truth of him knowing that he can overcome any situation out west, is going to allow him to say, yo, I can do whatever I need, what I want to do. When he has faith and no fear, that the truth of the matter is he know he's going to win. He took that leap of faith, and now he's going to reap the rewards of it. Like I said, when you understand that you planting your truth on good ground, your roots is gonna sink in. It's gonna seep. It's gonna hold ground. And if you know you're not gonna turn into a weed, the only other thing you can do, you're either gonna grow into a beautiful a tree with the trunk that's unmovable, or you're gonna become and bloom into that flower that only shows beautification that's going on in your life. That's what the 9 do. That's what the truth will do. It'll set you free and take you away from the worriations. You know what I'm saying? The Flyers two-tone salt and pepper beard. Shout out to BDB. But I'm just showing y'all what happens when you step out in your truth, when the truth will set you free, when the 9 will set you free. We now know that the 9 is Hebrew for truth. And when that truth hits you, there's nothing stopping you. There's no need for you just to lose momentum. It's nothing but gaining with that situation. You understand what I'm saying? You got to really do those things in order to appreciate and see those things. And when you do, what a joy is going to bring into your life, right? And, you know, like I said, I'm not even going to speak to it from the spiritual aspect, from quotes of the Bibles and so on and so forth. I'm going to just leave it there because we understand that those people that the Bible was translated from is those Hebrews, right? And if the Hebrews say the truth shall set, that your emet, the 9, the truth will set you free, then why not translate it into our everyday lives? We did it with the Bible. We live off the Bible, so why not live off the fact that the truth will set you free? And these are the things that we have to do going forward. These are the things we have to accept. If you're not going to accept it, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be in that same place where you started from. And there you go, score Diddy Grid and the White Monkey. But the truth of the matter is we all have room to grow. The truth of the matter is we can be the best version of ourselves. The truth of the matter is we are all seeming to be holding ourselves back from said truth. And when we do that, we are not We are not allowing ourselves to grow. And when you're not allowing yourself to grow, if you're broken, you're not allowing yourself to heal. And if you're broken, you're not allowing yourself to be repaired. That's just the truth. You can't want to be healed and stay away from those healing factors that will make you heal. You can't stay. You can't say I don't want to drink anymore and find yourself at a bar every night. You can't say I don't want to smoke weed every night, but then you find yourself at the hookah lounge, hitting the bong, right? You can't do none of those things. But if you say I'm ready to move, what you're gonna do? You're gonna look for a place to go. You're gonna find where I could set up shop, where I could set my roots, where my peace won't be disturbed, where my comfort zone won't be tampered with. And that's the thing that we have to do going forward, and we really have to go through and do that. And until we do that, we're never going to hit the destination of truth. We're never going to be able to be free from the doom and gloom of bondage that a lot of us tend to worry about. The lies, the lack of escaping situations that harmed us instead of helping us. We're going to be in bondage until you understand that the truth, can set you free. The truth will let you go. The truth will set you away from harmful situation. But if you don't understand that, if you don't agree with that, if you don't receive that, because I'm not telling y'all to believe, I want y'all to know that the truth will set you free. If you don't have that in you, then bondage will be the place that you are settling for. And none of us should be settling for less. We should be getting what we deserve. And a lot of us deserve the truth. We deserve the 9 that will set us from the bondage in the first place. So let me go up in here and I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to BDB. Diane, of course, it's always a pleasure to see you. Right? Scorp is a unique person, right? She may seem like she has a rough exterior, but the truth is, just like anybody else, she wants to be appreciated. Nobody wants to go through life not being appreciated, not being valued, not being admired, right? Not being loved. And that's just the truth of the matter, right? Diane was asking how deep is your self-love? But the truth is, Diane, people don't even know that how deep they can actually be. There's a lot of people that don't even understand that they're the storehouse. And when you don't understand that you're the storehouse, you don't know what's already inside of you. So now you're going to continuously look outside of you to find something that you already possess. And a lot of time when we do that, that is a waste of time, right? You can't expect Jim to understand who you are when you already know who you are. You can't expect Susie to understand what you have to do when you already know what you have to do. It's already inside of you. Everybody can't walk your walk. Everybody can't talk your talk. So the fact of the matter is, until you know your truth, you will be living in a falsehood that you don't deserve, but you have given yourself and made that your natural trait. And that's just something that we all have to work on, right? That's just the truth of the matter. So, I appreciate, when Diane had the conversation. Scorp is one that always is in the chat, right? I just want people to really understand that. Scorp said, I have a sewing business for years, but you conquered the fear. Yeah, because you understand once you overcome the fear, the sky is the limit, right? It may not mean you may succeed in said business, but the fact that you started the business, if you don't start the business, you never know if you're going to be successful or not, right? When you make that fear a minimum situation, the truth is you can overstep that and strive to what it is that you that you want to have in your life. and that's just the way that this goes. I'm doing good, Riaz. I'm happy. I'm happy. Hey, Riaz, you still doing Ramadan? Is your Ramadan over on Friday? Or Riaz says, I have ended my old style versus my new style series. That's what's up. Now, Riaz is another unique person, right? We understand that, he's young, but he seems to have understanding as if he was around elders and wise people, right? You know, he may do things that makes people question him, right? But at the end of the day, the truth is he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. That's just the truth. That's just who he is. Will people take advantage of that? We already know that that's the pot. We already know that's a, I don't want to say it's a fact. That's a good probability that someone has tried to manipulate and take advantage of him. His truth is, though, he has to understand he needs to be strong enough not to be taken advantage of. He has to understand if people are telling them, hey, you don't belong over there, it's a reason. He has to take, the truth of the matter is he has taken correction well enough not for it to be a criticism to him. And when he continues to do that, he knows that the correction is helping him and not harming him. And that's why, I appreciate him to that magnitude. You understand? Because, it's very easy for him to be as we were in our 20s. Man, I'm grown. You can't tell me nothing. Or better yet, I'm going to use the word that we would normally use. You can't tell me shit. Right? But understanding that he still has room to grow, even in his 20s, he knows that there's growth that's still inside of him. Sometimes it may be a little bit too much information, and sometimes he has to sit down on the sideline and gather himself. Yet at the same time, once he does it, he's ready to finish his race. That's just who he is. That's just the truth that he is showing us. And we have no reason to doubt or judge how he is. We just should appreciate the beauty that is within him, even though, people think there's some, people look at the negative side of what he's doing. We should embrace the positive side of what he's doing. And that's just the thing that we need to understand, But like I said, that's just something that we all should be embracing. That's just something that we all should be accepting going forward. Like I said, I just appreciate the fact that, there are people here that's willing to listen to the conversation, that really that really wants to hear this conversation, right? Because if it was falling on deaf ears, I would still do it, and I'm not even going. I'm gonna be truthful with it. I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to do. I'm leaving this information for somebody to come in and say, you know what? Let me see if that works for me, and if it does work for me, then I'm willing to embrace it. And that's the thing that we have to do, right? Almost half of 100 left a lot of people behind. Everyone can't come. And the truth is, when you grow, you're going to outgrow some people. And when you outgrow some people, guess what? Their season is over. But when the season of growth comes, there will be new people added into your life. And if they're meant to be in your life, they won't drift too far. But they will be able to embrace the truth that, hey, you are growing. I'm proud of you. Dare I say, I even love you. Right? We know that love is not a thing that happens on YouTube in its sincerity. But here I am trying to show that love can be on this app. Here I am trying to prove that it is possible and not improbable. The truth is, people got to want to accept it and not reject it. And that's just the truth of the matter, right? But I'm just happy that I was able to have this conversation because, sometimes when you hold on to an idea or you hold on to a word or you hold on to a message, sometimes it seems to escape you. And if you don't write it down, it may never come back to you. So now that I've done this and it was fresh and you know, as you can tell by the stumbling or the mumblings of my words, you understand this is a sincere message. It's day 26. You got 4 left. That's what's up, Riaz. And may Allah give you everything that you were seeking during your fast, right? Wallahi. And I mean that with the sincerest of love, for real, right? After tonight, right? Yeah. You in the stages, right? And you know, and that's just the truth of a fast, right? The fast meaning that you should not be stopping your everyday routine. You're just taking it's just the substance that's taken away from you, right? You can't eat during that period of time. Well, for those that know what that don't understand what Ramadan is, they can't eat while the sun is up, right? They can only eat when sundown, right? But they have to still go through their everyday activities, right? If they're working, they still have to work. Now, I'll give you an example, right? In the NBA, right? I'm not going to say the most famous Muslim, but I'm going to say he was a great example of it, right? Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon would play basketball, you know, in the summer. You know what basketball is. You exerting massive amount of energies to grab a rebound, score a bucket, block a shot, whatever it is. But you know you use a lot of energy in that thing, right? And during the Ramadan season, he could not gain any. He could not take a sip of Gatorade, take a sip of water. He couldn't do none of that. Why? Because he understand that through faith, through the truth, he was going to get through that. He was going to get through that adversity of not having substance in his body, even though he was excreting it through sweat, right? And and when he was done, it made him like one of the greatest centers in the NBA. It made him a 2-time champion. It made him a defensive player of the year. It made him an MVP of the National Basketball Association. And he was doing that during Ramadan. Ramadan was going on even in the most potent parts of the season, the playoffs, the NBA finals. You don't believe me? Look it up. He's a devout Muslim, right? And that's the things that you have to understand when your truth is that you are to become great. The adversity is going to make you diverse. It's going to allow you to overcome those situations that many people will see that it was holding you back, but through perseverance, it allows you to get through it and still be the best version of yourself as you continue to grow into that best version of yourself. That's what I want people to understand going forward. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming through today. Like I said, young Riaz, I appreciate you. Like I said, may Allah give you the blessings that is waiting for you in the next few days. May your strength and peace continue to develop. May your love of self continue to grow, right? And anybody that's going through the fast, the Lent season, I will be back in a couple of days to talk about that as we are almost at day 30 for the Lent season. I will be back to have that conversation. But of course, if something else inspires me, I will be on before that time, right? Let me look at my calendar real quick to see when the 30th day of Lent is. Yes, that's where the name comes from, Ramadan. Okay. Gary, I post my video. That's what's up, Riaz. Okay, today is the 26th, so that's 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. So sometime next week, maybe April 3rd April 3rd will be the 30th day. And as always, I'm here to support you with whatever you're going through during that fast. I want you guys to understand that it's possible that you can be the best version of yourself, seeking your soul salvation, right? Becoming one with the God that you pray to, the God that you serve. It's a truth that allows you to seek the peace and love that the God has in store for you. So whenever that is the case, whatever the case is, I'm here for you. I will continue to take that journey with you. Yes, the last day of Ramadan is Sunday. I got you, Riaz. Yeah, that's your 30 days. But for those that follow Christ, the 40th day, the 40 days is a cup is 10 days after your no, not 10 days. It's 10 days more than the Ramadan season. Yeah, he was. That's what I'm saying, Diane. But I appreciate you guys coming through. I appreciate you guys listening to the conversation. I hope it helps and not hurt. But like I said, April 3rd will be my next scheduled time to talk about the 30th day of fasting. But if something inspires me, I will post before popping up. I don't want nobody to think that this is all this is inspired by, right? It's inspired by the observation. It's inspired by my faith in understanding things and entities, to understand the Christ-like abilities that God has given me, right? I do that for these reasons. I have these conversations for that reason. I want to see the best version for everybody. It's not a lost cause, because if it was lost, I wouldn't be able to have that faith of trying to find it, right? So as long as I can, I shall and I will. So with that being said, everybody, I'll see you next week. But of course, you may Miss T. Good morning. Uh, so with that being said, I'm still around. If people are having healthy conversations, I will pop up. I will be in the chats. You know, I just want you to know that the truth, the nine, the immat will set you free, right? And if you know it, it's time for us to show it. So with that being said, y'all, appreciate y'all stopping by. Uh like I said, I'll see you next Thursday, unless inspired to do so earlier. But I will set a reminder so people can catch it before I actually go ahead and do it. So with that being said, y'all, appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. See you guys next week. Do, 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 do.